Hello, podcast listeners. Open one of your food apps and place an order. See if they can get it delivered before the end of this episode of JJ Meets World. And if they don't tip them. And by the way, if you'd like to help support our podcast, visit jjmeetsworld.com where you can donate to our Patreon, pick up some killer swag at our merch shop, or click the link to Apple Podcast and give us a 5-star review.
1, 2, 3, 4. J.J. Gordon, sort of like that Indiana Jones, in that he's always sniffing out his next adventure. Yes, he is! He's always interviewing guests so he can have them on his show and they can talk about pop culture, arts, and leisure. J.J. has his flag unfurled and he likes his french fries curled, and he's fun and then he twirls as he goes to meet the world. He will march into the rain even if his ankle sprained. Take a peek inside his brain. This podcast is called J.J. Meets World.
Tucker, I want to talk about food delivery today for just a kicking off point.
This is a huge topic for me.
I know it's a huge topic for you, and you actually have told me about several places you've had delivered that I consider to be the undeliverable restaurants. There's no way, not on God's green earth where they make little green apples, do those things travel as well as if you had just picked it up yourself. But first, let's get into this idea, which is the pandemic changed food delivery in a big way. And the Toes had been going into the world of food delivery as a gig service for a while, because it used to be that, pizza, Chinese, every now and then you'd have like a random sandwich spot, but food delivery from the majority of restaurants just didn't exist.
I remember early days of the pandemic saying out loud to nobody, because I was just in my apartment with my cats, man, I wish that they had delivery for like McDonald's or Dairy Queen. I actually said that a few times. And then that, you know what? Be careful what you wish for, JJ.
Because sometimes you get it. And you find out, oh, that's right, a private business needs to do that. And they're going to find every single way they can to gouge you as possible. Now, here's what's interesting. I don't actually feel like it's the restaurants gouging you. I feel like it's the delivery services that are gouging you.
That's what I'm talking about. That's who I'm referring to.
Okay. So the history of food delivery is this. To have a restaurant that has food delivery, you need dedicated drivers, and you need more than one, because the odds of you like getting a perfectly stacked order, going to every single like a pizza place like a Domino's, being like, oh, everyone on the same block ordered the same pizza, so now I can deliver them all at one time. Goody 2 shoes. That just doesn't happen. It doesn't exist in this world.
Right.
So what happens was Domino's has to hire multiple delivery drivers, and then those people get tips for the things that they're driving. Sometimes they have to share the tips with the people who made the pizza. Sometimes they don't. And then this, of course, is where just a glut of pornography comes from as well. I mean,
you're saying the premise?
The trope, the trope of a delivery food driver is
a stranger arrives at your door, right? That's
an invited stranger. And one time, I believe it probably happened, but everything else are make 'em ups. So the rest of us sit here for decades and decades just enjoying having a few delivery places. Now, takeout has existed for a long time. Like, you could get takeout from restaurants, no sweat. But that kind of was something that was sort of backburnered. Like, I remember getting takeout from Applebee's when I still worked at Take Two, and
to go.
Right, and stuff like that. But like
the kind of thing that has its own parking spot.
Right now it does, but at that time, I really don't believe it didn't. I don't believe it did, because I think curbside to go was really a thing that happened during the pandemic, where they actually had special spots where you got to go. Before that, it was handicapped, expectant mothers, maybe a veteran, but those were the only parking spaces that were reserved in restaurant parking lots. Also, by the way, I think that they should have a spot that is for men who are willing to cry. Like, if you're willing to admit that you can cry, you can park in a really good spot.
I'm down for that. I'll even demonstrate it.
Right, exactly. Like, I'm going to cry in the parking lot.
That would be awesome if that was your department. And it's like, here's the thing. You can get the discount, but I need to see it happen. I need to see you do this.
I feel like you get into that space, and there's some fine print on the sign for it that says tune your radio to 91.1, and then you do, and it's just nonstop on repeat all by myself.
Yeah. I think it works a lot like steroid testing in like combat sports, where they can show up at absolutely any time, and you have to do the test right there, and you have to whip your dick out. They have to see it, right? So like in a cry test, it has to be at any time. It could be in the middle of your wedding.
Yeah, and you got to keep your hands on the wheel so you're not pinching yourself, because that's the thing. But pinchers don't make good criers. So anyway, this happens, and like, to go was there, but it wasn't great. You usually had to call and talk to a human being who ran it through their point of sale system.
That was the worst part, and I learned at an early age. I remember this distinctly. I was always taught, if you have to call them, go, hey, how's it going? Do you got any specials going on?
Oh, God.
I was taught that from my parents. That's the first thing you ask. That was because there was no way to find out unless they told you.
Oh, wow. Now, see, I'll say this. I don't think you should get the special if you're not dining in. And just throwing that out there. That's my opinion.
I mean, this would mostly be pizza shops. Like, do you have any do you have any discounts?
Do you have the college special? And so your dad would order the college special, even though he was not in college.
Yeah, not like, tonight it's the cod, huh? Yeah, I'll take the cod. No.
Ooh, nothing like fried cod that I pick up and then transport to my house in a sweaty box.
Styrofoam.
Could you also cook that in the same oil that you're cooking other things in? That would be delightful.
But here's an issue I think you were getting to earlier, and I kind of want to point this out too, is drive time is crucial here. There's a couple of things, because I've gotten so lazy that I do the ordering too often, right? So I have too many experiences that gives me an opinion on it. I kind of wish I hadn't had that many experiences. But you can always tell if, say, the person brought it in a cooler, if it was a cold meal, or in some sort of a hotter thing to keep it warm if it was a hot meal. But you have to think of those things, because I think once you're beyond a 5-minute drive, that's when the ingredients start to really lose their luster.
I believe
you
congealing takes place.
Yeah.
Interesting you bring that up, because I noted I got a pizza last Friday, and I looked and I was like, when pizza places actually deliver their own pizza, they do come in those like hot bags.
Can I talk about Applebee's for a second here, JJ? Because this is making me think of something. You and I just had the bees the other day. That was lovely. I love having bees with you. Whichever one of us dies first, the other one has to go to an Applebee's. They have to order 2 sets of honey barbecue boneless wings and just let the other one sit across from them, and they don't eat it. Oh
God, yeah.
and then when they're done, you stand up and you have to tip your hat to it, and then you walk out.
I would also like, whichever one of us dies first, the other one on an annual basis has to bring some Applebee's to the grave site.
I love it, and just leave it there. Yeah,
just leave it there.
I'm guessing I would get you some honey barbecue, and then I would order a thing of matzo sticks for us to quote unquote share. I'd only eat half of them. Every time though, I get their chips and queso. There's always a skin on top of the queso already. And I'm like, it was 10 feet away. How did this get a skin on it? How is it congealed already? And I think what's happening is they're making it, and then they're just kind of like letting it sit.
So let me tell you a quick story that has to deal with this. So there's a story that my grandmother used to tell about like the second Christmas she spent when she had married my grandfather with my great-grandparents, who were very, like, I think they were like second generation Americans. And my great-grandfather apparently had gotten just obliterated on Christmas wine and whatever. And so they're sitting there and he's kind of like falling asleep at the table. And I don't even know what his name is, but we'll call him Rick. And my great grandmother's like, Rick, wake up, Christmas. And his eyes shoot open and he goes, yeah, your mother's skin on the gravy. And that's now this story, by the time I hear it, is over 30 years old. At this point, it's nearing 70 years old.
Wow.
And I still, when I see gravy on the table, because gravy is another thing that skins over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you don't want things that skin over. Now, here's my thought. I think during the cooking process, it skins over in the cooking process. I don't think it's skinning over because it's been out too long. I think that's part of the problem with whatever their cheese thing is. Okay. And
it's almost like they're broiling it or something.
Right. So what they should do is use a spoon real quick and froth it before they bring it out to the table.
Presentation is key.
It really is.
Even at Applebee's.
Have you noticed places have stopped putting garnish on plates? Like there's not that little piece of lettuce. There's no pickled beet anymore. The restaurant industry is going to hell in a handbasket. How
much do you think that was costing them though?
The kale farmers were being subsidized. They were literally giving it to them for free. And you know what? Again, presentation's key. I am getting less food for more money and less presentation.
Mm-hmm.
So just throwing that out there. Okay, so food delivery services become a thing. At this point, the template for it is Uber and Lyft, right? This gig delivery service where people are using their own vehicles. Now, what I think is interesting is a lot of places fought back against this who already had food delivery, right? The pizza places, the Chinese places were like, no. But I've noticed that some major pizza chains no longer offer their own delivery. They use DoorDash or Grubhub, which is why I don't order from Papa Juan's anymore. Because if you go back and listen to the Valentine's Day episode from 2 years ago, where I had to listen to that guy in the Indian restaurant being like, you a dasher. You're taking 45 minutes. I'm losing money here. That guy delivered my pizza once, and I'm like, nope, never again, sir. Okay, so the restaurants around the globe during the pandemic are like, oh my God, we still have to make money as a restaurant. So they launch curbside to go, this like contactless pickup where essentially every restaurant figures out a way for you to pull up and they'll bring you out your food like that, which is just a take on the old car hop service of back in the day. People should have been on roller skates. It would have been hilarious. So they do that, but then they also realize like, there's still people who don't want to leave their house. There's still people who are inherently not wanting to go someplace, whether they're a little lazy, whether they just like the comfort of their own home, whatever. Don't yuck on someone's yum. They just don't want to come to your restaurant and wait and sit there. So they have to figure out this delivery thing. And that's where, Food Dudes existed before the pandemic, and it was not huge. I think they maybe had like 5 or 6 restaurants, right? Yep. That was a part of them. Now, every restaurant you could ever imagine is listed. And I found this out. Almost every restaurant has some kind of mobile ordering in some way, shape, or form. So sometimes that is because these companies go in and take a picture of the menu and put the company's menu up on their own page. The restaurants don't even know that this is happening. So what happens is if I place a restaurant for Tucker's Chicken and Waffles, this company then actually calls Tucker's Chicken and Waffles and places my order for me. Someone goes and picks it up and they send it to me. Now, what's really interesting is in that case, they are setting their own prices. So if I were to order directly from Tucker, I'd be able to get a grilled cheese for $7. But when I order online, their base price for the grilled cheese is like $9. No substitutions, no way to make changes because they don't know, does this restaurant even do changes? But it doesn't matter because we'll just take your money. Then they put the convenience fee on the top of it. I started doing some math because for a while we were ordering food quite a bit as well. Hundreds of dollars bleeds into thousands of dollars every single year in delivery charges. And a bunch of them are just convenience fees on top of a tip. Now, here's the thing that's going to make me sound like a curmudgeon, but hear me out on it, okay? Never put the tip in with your order. because there's no sense for them to work hard for it. There's no sense for them to do the basics, which is let me check to make sure that this order is correct. Let me do the base. So, for example, I have there's a restaurant in town that's themed after outer space and its inhabitants.
Yeah, I think we had a whole
we did
episode about how harrowing that was.
It was. And I vowed to them right then and there, I will never come to your restaurant again. And it's because I had such a bad experience with using DoorDash delivering from that restaurant. And I feel bad. And like in this case, I took it out on the restaurant because when I called to allow them to make it right, they were pains in the old beehole. And that's what ticked me off the most is like, listen, hey, you both messed up, right? It's like if your best friend hooked up with your girlfriend. They're both at fault here. One is slightly more at fault than the other, though.
Which one? Ooh, which one do you think is slightly more at fault?
In this case, the DoorDash driver.
No. In the boyfriend, girlfriend, or the best friend, girlfriend.
The girlfriend.
The girlfriend
100% the girlfriend.
Not the friend.
The girlfriend, not the friend. Because she's experimenting herself right now. She doesn't know who she is. Twist, you thought I was going to talk about a best friend who's a guy.
Bros before not bros.
I disagree because in my mind,
I say that in the most gender neutral way possible.
Right, but I'm envisioning my girlfriend and then a female friend.
Well, there's nothing wrong with
that. You said it, not me, brother. So food delivery becomes just massive. And then the fast food restaurants get in on it. So there is now this world where McDonald's is delivering, and we find out that people go gaga for having their McDonald's delivered. And McDonald's then, does their own. And at this point, companies like DoorDash are trying to get lucrative contracts that are nationwide with huge companies, right? Like delivery brought to you by DoorDash.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what is most interesting to me in this is that we have some dominant companies. And then when Uber gets into it, I'm actually surprised Uber Eats isn't more popular than it is. Maybe it is in larger cities, but like Fargo, I feel like is dominated by Grubhub and DoorDash.
Oh, I mean, I'm pretty much exclusively using Uber Eats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not that I'm like, oh, that's my brand. That's just the first one that I started with, and then I just kind of kept going back.
I don't find that the selections are as great on that. But teach his own, right?
I'm a man of simple tastes. It's DQ blizzards and usually
this is a good segue because first of all, I know that you're ordering gas station pizza to your house occasionally.
Sometimes, but I do that through their website. So if I can avoid,
but it's delivered by DoorDash.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, good point.
Yep.
I keep thinking of Pizza Patrol, which does its own delivery.
Actually, do you want to hear something amazing about Pizza Patrol?
Yeah.
I know a guy who delivers for Pizza Patrol, and that's what I got for my birthday dinner. Okay.
Nice.
And Dan happened to deliver it and sang happy birthday, serenaded me on the porch, and then brought me a birthday card with my pizza and wings.
See, that's service right there.
I tell you, I was over the moon. That guy, and then he was wearing a great Hawaiian shirt. And I was like, that really, I mean, that was probably the most unexpected thing that happened on my birthday, which was just delightful. So you play fast and loose, brother, because
I do.
Ice cream, anything ice cream, I am amazed that you are willing to order it.
Well, and here's I have a method now for DQ that because you can order from all sorts of DQs. So I always make sure to order from the one the only one that isn't on Uber Eats is the one that's actually closest to me
on 10th Street.
On 10th Street or on
University.
And so I have to order from the one up from 13th. Because that's the next closest one. There is the one from Dilworth, but it's about a 2-minute difference. And oftentimes, for some reason, when people deliver from Dilworth, they end up delivering to a bunch of other places first as well. That's what really screws you, right? Like you can try to judge the distance all you want, but if that particular delivery person has taken multiple ones, then you're waiting for them to finish their other deliveries first. But I digress. I always get a blizzard and I get a what are they called? I'm completely blanking on the name. The Circle ice cream. Why am I blanking on the name of
The
it?
Circle ice cream.
It's in the shape of a hockey puck, and it's on a stick. And
a dilly bar.
There you go. Thank you, dilly bar. I always get a dilly bar and a Blizzard. And the moment it gets to my door, the Blizzard goes in the freezer. Usually it's in pretty good condition still, but I put it in the freezer anyways just to give it a little bit of rest time and some nice cold while I eat the dilly bar.
Okay.
After I've eaten the dilly bar, I let some time pass, and then I go to the freezer and I take out the Blizzard, and it's ready to go, and it's perfect.
Oh, delightful. Who doesn't love that?
Yeah.
I think that you are playing with fire.
I am playing. Well, I'm playing with ice
literally,
cream.
you're playing with warm air is what you're playing with.
Yep.
There are just some things that I'm like, this just does not travel as well. Like, for example, people who order soup from places who don't lovingly pack the soup, you're going to end up with a wet bag, baby.
You're going to have to nuke that thing when you get it, basically.
100%. People who order any kind of melted cheese on anything. So, for example, if you get cheese fries that get delivered, that cheese isn't pulling apart. That cheese isn't stringy. That cheese is now a crusted top layer. It's your mother's skin on the gravy at that point.
So, what was your grandfather? Was your grandfather? He was insulting your grandmother. Right?
It was my great grandfather insulting my great grandmother about my great great grandmother.
So, what did he really hate his mother-in-law? Like,
no. See, here's the thing: nobody really knows. Nobody knows. Nobody knows what it was. Nobody knows where that insult came from, and if he had been saving it for a while, if it's something he had said to my great grandmother previously. But that one faithful Christmas, that's what burst out.
Wow, that's so funny.
Yeah, I think it was. It's a Gordon family memory that I should turn into T-shirts.
Do you think the insult changes if you change which kind of gravy it is? Like, is it beef gravy? Is it turkey gravy? Is it?
Well, I mean, this would have been a turkey gravy, but it's an interesting question.
I'm just asking, like, do you think if it was adopted as an insult, that it would be that the more insulting it is, the lower grade of gravy, maybe?
I think
lower flavor.
I truly believe that in my mind, I've always thought of it as a beef gravy over the years, but it was probably a turkey gravy. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're having beef. Maybe they're having like roast beef and they're putting some beefy gravy out there. I don't know.
Can you make unconventional gravy, like bologna gravy?
Yeah, any meat that would have rendered fat. You could make a gravy dedicated to that meat. Hey, I also thought of something over the weekend that I think. So first of all, we've had the conversation, is gravy a condiment? Right? To which I believe we decided yes.
Yeah, because you would never eat it just on its own.
Right.
It enhances another meal.
Right. I thought of another condiment. Frosting.
Oh, hell yeah.
And
the
frosting
best condiment.
It's a sweet condiment, and yeah, you can have cake on its own, but you add frosting to it to bring it up. And then I was having this conversation, hoping that someone would argue the opposite, but people actually found better ways to justify it than even I had. And my coworker Mandy was like, Dunkaroos.
But
I was like, heck yes.
Here is though the primary difference for me. I would eat frosting on its own.
Sure, and you could technically eat gravy on its own. Like if you were looking for like you wouldn't probably take spoonfuls, but I bet there's somebody out there who would, takes a finger full of gravy.
Oh yeah, but there's something about that just grosses me out. I don't know why. Is it because it's savory? I mean, like we're used to sweet things like ice cream, right? Having that texture of it's not really solid. It's more of a liquid than a solid. It's almost like and so I think it might just be, but then there's soup. Soup is liquid and salty and great.
Right. So, but I also think if you'd have to get closer to stew, which is technically like soup and gravy.
And then you're paying attention to the solid bits of food in the liquid.
Yes. Yes.
This is disgusting. True. We're making none of these things sound delicious.
Let me tell you a story about Rapid City, South Dakota. I went to go visit my friend Zach and his wife and their daughter. And it was one of the most charming moments of my life because I played this game with his daughter where I would wrap her up in a blanket and then throw her onto a bed, and then she'd get out of the blanket, and then she ran over, and we'd do it all again. Like for 2 hours, we played this game. And when I was leaving, like, because I was there for a Linebender show, so the rest of the Linebenders with me when I was leaving, and she was like, "Second Papa go?"
Oh,
And I was like, "Oh, my heart, my heart." Well, and actually, I should mention this too. So my coworker brought her kids in on Friday on my birthday, and they had made me homemade birthday cards, and they were, I mean, they're very sweet. You know, one had a dinosaur in it, and then the one that her son made me, and her son is 9, had $2 in it as a gift. Isn't that just the cutest thing you've ever heard?
Do you think that's his newspaper delivery money?
It might be, or maybe he started a car wash that wasn't successful.
I'm asking, like, was it really Amy's $2?
No, it was not, because
now you owe Amy $2.
Both she and her husband were there, and her husband was like, "Did he put $2 in that thing?" And I'm like, "He sure did." And I also made no attempt to give it back to the parents. It's my $2 now.
Yeah,
kids silly enough to give me $2, but it reminded me of a story from when I was a kid. We had neighbors across the street, and one of them passed away. And so my mom had sent me over there, and I'm a little kid, right? Sent me over there with like a plate of bars. And I think it was one of the first times she explained, like, "Oh, this person died, and, you say nice things, and, you give them something." And you give them this. And so they had sent a thank you note over, and my mom learned about this from the thank you note that said, "Thank you so much. It really meant a lot when JJ, was at the door and he handed us the plate of bars, and then he took out his Velcro wallet and gave us $2. And so, like, I had given them like a memoriam, not even knowing what that was. And I remember that wallet. It was a blue wallet with Mickey Mouse on it, trifold, and the real good peel on that Velcro. So, okay, what was I getting at? Birthday cards. Oh no.
I mean, we were talking about gravy for a bit.
So I'm in Rapid City, and I'm having breakfast with the Linebenders and Zach and his wife and their daughter. And Zach's wife loves biscuits and gravy. Like, she loves sausage gravy so much that she'll make a huge batch and then freeze it and then take out like 1 gallon bags of it at a time. So there's always biscuit gravy. She loves it.
I don't know why that grosses me out. I don't know why.
Okay, well, hold on to your socks, buddy. So their daughter is sitting there, and I'm sitting next to our friend Britta, and Britta is watching this little girl who is like, she's got eggs on her plate, and she's got biscuits and gravy, sausage gravy, and then like some ketchup, and she's kind of like smearing everything around together. And she's got a sippy cup filled with chocolate milk. And so she's like, unbeknownst to her parents, she's like taking little bits from her plate, like little pieces of sausage and gravy and ketchup, and like forcing it through like the mouth of her sippy cup.
Ew.
And she's doing that. And Britta is watching in absolute horror. And this is going on for like several minutes. And then the girl picks up her milk, and I feel Britta like grab my arm to get my attention. And she goes, "Don't." Just one word, "don't." But this girl takes a big sip of her chocolate milk that's got chunks of sausage and ketchup and gravy on the inside. And Britta starts like, "Bleh, bleh, bleh." And like, Britta, if you didn't know this, is someone just making the sounds of throwing up will make Britta throw up. And so she had to excuse herself from the...
How is old Britta these days? I haven't seen her in forever.
She's great. She's a homeowner. She just got back from the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. She's married. She's working her way up at a company. I think everything's coming up Britta.
Does her husband still have that podcast about the Detroit Lions?
I think they gave up on it.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, but that podcast was very well received.
Yeah.
So, but teach his own. Like, not everyone can be JJ Meets World, which is what year are we about to embark on here?
Well, we started 2018.
Holy smokes. So we're about to hit our 8-year anniversary then?
Is that
2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Oh, our 9th year.
Our 9th year, yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's right, because 2020 would have been one of the years.
Why are you people listening to this still?
I know, right?
God, it's just garbage. It's opinions of two people who have no real basis for sharing their opinions.
Speaking of which, opinions, is there a movie next week you want to go see?
I'm sure that there is. There's always movies I want to see.
I am in the mood to go have a theatrical experience.
You are.
And I never feel that way. And I really, truly, I am so out of the loop. I don't even know what's out there. Out? So honestly, JJ, I would let you just pick a title, and I would go with you to it.
That's a dumb choice.
I'll let you do it. I'll let you do it. I'll let you pick a title, and we'll just go watch it, and then make a pod about it.
Okay, have you seen Black Phone 1?
The fuck is that?
Okay, so that's your assignment. You have to watch Black Phone first.
Oh, so you've already seen it?
Well, because Black Phone 2 comes out.
Oh,
and I wanna go see Black Phone 2.
Deal.
So watch it. It's crazy good. It's based on a Stephen King story. It's like got the roots of like someone else who has like The Shining to them. Okay. And Ethan Hawke is phenomenal. Like I saw this movie and I had not seen a preview or anything. Was so blown away by how much I enjoyed it that I went again the next day. Like I took Jill the very next day.
Damn.
Okay. Yeah. So watch Black Phone, and then I think it's probably on Peacock, if I had to guess. That's going to wrap it up for today's show. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to help us continue to produce new episodes each week, visit jjmeetsworld.com, where you can donate to our Patreon, pick up some swag at the merch shop, or follow our link to Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review. You can also follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all the sites the cool kids are using these days. JJ Meets World is produced every week by Tucker Lucas. You can find out more about Tucker's work by visiting moonbasemaria.com. If you want to get in touch with your host with the most, check out linebenders.com, where you can find direct contact info for JJ or booking information. Here's the thing about food delivery. It used to be your grandma, and she would bring food to your house, but we never tipped the grandmas, so they stopped.